one last time. I can feel that burning deep inside. Gonna give it all I am. Gotta feel that power in my hands. Beat of the drums rushing through my skin.
Tonight, the Riders out to complete the sweep over their close rivals and strengthen their grip on the championship title. But can the Eagles spoil the party?
Strong. To the back. Maxwell with the strength and the throwdown. On the buzzer. Washington strings it.
Justin Gordon doing what he does best, flying high and finishing.
Dumping it off to Lee with the two-handed throwdown.
We're live from the Virtue Motors Arena as two of the most successful teams in BBL history go head-to-head once again. Newcastle hosting Leicester, a heavyweight clash for a Friday night. Very good evening to you. Good to have you with us. So the Cup winners looking to stifle the title-chasing Riders. Should be a good game, and delighted to say that BBL legend Kieran Achara with us as ever, as is the Worcester Wolves head coach Matt Newby. Great to see you both. Matt, thanks for dropping by. You must be, I don't know, kind of glad of a night off, given the way that games are coming so thick and fast right now.
I think this is my first weekend off in about 8 weeks. I think we managed to pack about 40% of our games into about a 6-week period. So.
Right, it is intense at the moment, isn't it, Kieran? It always is at this stage of the season, the scramble for playoff spots, but particularly this year, because it's been such a condensed season.
No, this season has been insane. Like I'm looking at the table right now. Everyone, is so competitive, and there's so a lot of movement still to be had. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to see how it pans out.
Let's try and get our heads around it. We'll start by taking a look at the championship table. The top 4 all have playoff spots confirmed. From Cheshire down, it is still mathematically anyway still to play for the title. Well, it's completely in Leicester's control. The only other team that can change that is London. They're in action tonight against Surrey, narrowly ahead in the third quarter there. They need to run the table, the Lions. If they don't win tonight, then Leicester are champions if they beat Newcastle. Plymouth, you'll see, have the same number of points as London. They played 2 games more. Newcastle in 4th spot on 30 points, and it is very congested below that, including Matt's Worcester Wolves, all jockeying for position in the run-in. Every team, bar the Rocks, realistically in contention for a playoff spot. Just the top 8 make it. And in terms of tonight's fixtures, the London-Surrey game was a 6 p.m. tip-off. As I say, that's into the third quarter. The Scorchers have now edged ahead. So that one really, really keenly poised. The Sharks, well, they need to get something going and some form together soon. They take on Bristol. The Giants can move level on points with Bristol with a win against the Rocks and a Flyers loss. They're both 7:30 tips, so we'll be across the scores and updating you throughout the course of the show. So we'll start with the title race. I think we all agree we need a master's degree from MIT to work out exactly how and when Leicester are going to win this. But simply put, London need to win out to have any chance. And that includes, of course, beating Leicester next Wednesday if it gets that far, Kieran. So it's firmly in the Raiders' camp right now.
Definitely. And I'm looking at the Riders right now. I'm looking at tonight's game. A big rivalry game against Newcastle. If they get this win, it gives them a little bit of breathing space.
Freudian slip. I said Raiders camp. Riders, we'll talk about the Raiders in a minute because they're very much the form team right now. We love the unpredictability of the BBL, Matt. It's a league where on any day, any team can beat any other team. The Riders have lost just 4 games this season, so it's testament to how impressive they've been, that they've been so consistent throughout.
Yeah, and consistency comes from Coach Pat Nostro's approach. It comes from the players' application and great recruitment. And, on any given night, you've got another guy coming off the bench of a certain level that can just give them something different. And that's what makes them exciting, that's what makes them consistent, and that's what makes them winners.
Bigger picture, the playoff race is wide open. How are you feeling about the Wolves' chances?
I mean, a lot of the coaches have been questioned on this, and I think, myself and the coaches in that middle order have all got the same opinion. We've got to focus on what we're doing. we've got to win out. We've got to take those last 2 games and then keep a very close eye on what's happening in the rest of the league.
Do you have a sense that this year, Matt, it is more wide open than other years? You can make a solid case for 7, 8 teams going all the way.
I think that's been the success of this season. The BBL definitely has been stronger. You know, there's been a lot of strong recruitment across the board, and there's just some great matchups on a nightly basis, and it's made the league exciting this season.
The Raiders, 18-3 in the last 21 games in all competitions. Other than Leicester, Kieran, they're the most informed team in the BBL right now, aren't they?
I'm absolutely loving watching them, and you know, I'm a very defensive-minded person. Plymouth have that in abundance. They're such a strong defensive, physical team. I think they can go definitely all the way very easily.
Raiders in great form. Newcastle not so much, given their high standards as well. What do you make of their mixed form of late?
It's exactly that. It's mixed. You know, I looked at after Justin Gordon getting injured after the Cup. I was thinking, okay, actually, they've got a few wins together. They're starting to look like Newcastle of old, and then all of a sudden they've slipped up again. A couple, Manchester came back. You know, great Lloyd Gardner doing a great job there, but it was unexpected. You know, and you never know what to expect.
That was worrying for Coach McLeod. I guess that fourth quarter capitulation against Manchester, because they were in control of that game, and particularly surprising, Matt, when you look at their roster and you see there are so many experienced heads there. Although the positive side, in a playoff situation, that's exactly what you want in your locker room.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the roster, and you know Ramon's been there and done it before. Darius has been there and done it before. You know, Cortez was with us last year and took a trophy. And then you look across the league and you see a Justin Robinson at London, and you need those guys in the camp that essentially, when it comes to playoff time, they're going to level up.
Particularly when they're in this kind of form, because they've struggled since that cup win by their high standards. A lot of that, as Kieran was saying, was down to Justin Gordon being absent for a fair while, but he's back and he's fully fit. So we sent another one of their key players, and indeed a key player on our BBL coverage here on Sky Sports, Drew Lasker, to dig a little bit deeper on one of the BBL's very best.
It's Gordon who takes off. Fletcher lobs up the alley-oop, and Gordon looks full of health as he jams it in.
Justin Gordon, what's up, my guy?
What's good, my boy?
You play for the Newcastle Eagles, which is the most winningest organization in the British Basketball League. What did you know about the tradition before you signed with the club?
Just what you said there, that was really all I needed to hear, coming from teams that weren't in the competition as far as winning the league or winning trophies and cups and stuff like that. So coming to a team with that kind of pedigree from history, that means I have a good chance of doing it again.
Talk to me about what it felt like, firstly, to be able to lift up a championship, and then secondly, to add an MVP award to it.
Both of those experiences, as far as winning the BBL Cup, were first for me. I've won championships in college and in high school, but really just being more of a role player in those situations and coming out and winning my first championship as a pro and also coming out with the MVP, that was picture perfect as I could have imagined it.
Not only did you win the MVP, but you broke the rebounding record for the Cup game. What is your role for the Newcastle Eagles?
This year, my role for the Eagles, it feels more of like a Swiss Army knife. I feel like I can do a bunch of things for us. Sometimes I'm put on the best guy on the floor. Sometimes my number is called to score for us. But in those positions on offense, I'm always giving an outlet, giving another option.
Towers delivering it straight to Edwards. It's Gordon who takes off.
Really, I just come out here and be aggressive and play basketball how I've learned. Feed the open man, get to the rim when you can, take the open shot, and make the right pass and play as hard as you can while doing it.
We're playing Sheffield Sharks. You're on a fast break with Kipper Nichols. What happens next?
I'm kind of halfway in between the basket, go up to jump straight up, and ended up landing on my right foot, twisting my ankle both ways. At first, I just thought I landed really hard, and I was like, my heel hurts. So I just thought it was an impact injury. I ended up coming out and finishing the game. I've never had an injury before, so my mindset didn't think, I'm going to be out for this amount of time. I'm thinking, I wonder how long it'll last me.
But how long exactly were you out?
It was about 4 weeks, like 3.5 weeks. For me, once I realized that it was something significant and something that could linger, I just, hunkered down on it. I didn't want anything to affect me from getting back to 100%, and even if that was coming back too early. Whether or not I felt that the team needed me or whether or not I could have done anything extra, it was kind of me just being extra careful, doing the best thing for my career.
Fletcher lobs up the alley-oop, and Gordon looks full of health as he jams it in.
Is there anything that you had to adjust to your game coming back from your injury?
No, that was really my goal. I didn't want to have to make any adjustments. If I'm thinking that I can't do this, I shouldn't really be out there. I'm not really in the mindset that I can help the team the best way possible. Everything's been more mental coming back. I'm still playing the same style of play, but I also have to work my way back conditioning-wise. If I'm not out there giving 100, then I might as well let somebody else have their chance to do their job and be 100% on the floor too.
Hey, that's the second one. Diving on the floor, but Gordon comes away with it. Basket and scores.
How much do you know about the Newcastle Leicester Rider rivalry?
I don't know anything other than the fact that whenever we go and play each other, we're playing hard and playing hard as possible. We're definitely going to get their best game regardless of the situation, regardless of the outcome.
What do you think are going to be the keys for the Newcastle Eagles to get the victory?
We definitely have to be on our A game. Everybody needs to be firing mentally and just be ready for that moment. And also, we have to be on a string defensively. We just got to come in, focus, locked in, and do our best to get the win. And it's going to be tough, but, you know, life isn't easy. Neither is this league, for real.
Matt, they struggled without him. Why is he such an important part of their team?
I mean, he kind of struck a chord when he said he's a Swiss Army knife because he's so versatile. He can play inside, outside. He can guard 1 through 4 genuinely, 5 at times, and he's a presence at both ends of the floors. And from what I've seen, he's a really humble guy. He's just here to do a job, and Coach McLeod's lucky to have him.
Outside of losing his individual productivity, Kieran, how much did this loss disrupt the rhythm of the starting five and therefore the rotation from the bench as well?
That's exactly what it was. The rotations then changed. You know, you had Darius having to play big minutes. You know, a lot was asked of him. I mean, he stepped up to the role very well, actually. I think he did really well as a starter, but just the rhythm, they were very short-handed there. You know, and like I said, he's so versatile in his game, Gordon, that actually it was a really big hole to fill.
We mentioned that defeat against Manchester. Ramon Fletcher was brilliant in that game, 38 points, 9 assists. Although the result didn't go their way, he was immense. And Matt, there's a lot of MVP talk about Gino Crandall, DeAndre Liggins, Ashley Hamilton, all genuine and viable contenders for MVP. But Fletch leads the league in points per game, in assists. He's got to be in the mix once again as well, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He's a perennial contender. He delivers on multiple fronts. He's prepared to distribute the ball, which we've seen, you know, I think he had, 36, 38 points? And he dished out 9-10 assists in that game. Defends hard, you know, all the time, and has high expectations of his teammates.
Yeah, lifts everyone up around him. And what about this backcourt tandem he has built with Cortez Edwards? The best 1-2 in the BBL?
Yeah, I think it's up to debate, but it's definitely up there. I like it. You know, both of them defend very hard. Tez does the unquantifiable. He rebounds well, gets the assists, gets the steals. It's just a nice blend to have for Coach McLeod, and when they're on, they're a real problem.
And an intense competitor, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right then, Newcastle looking to get things back on track. Coming up, we'll take a closer look at the championship frontrunners and a player who's checked in with the Riders mid-season, but has more than stepped up to the challenge.
My journey to the BBL pretty much started with Coach Rob calling me, saying that there's a guy that was hurt and that, you know, they probably needed somebody to come in, play right away, and, you know, contribute to the team.
Kicked out in front to Heron. Heron driving hard, and welcome to the BBL, Mustafa Heron.
The Riders looking to take one step closer to the title with a win tonight in Newcastle. Remember, if Leicester win and London in action against Surrey and currently losing against Surrey, if they don't beat the Scorchers, then Leicester will be the champions. Some words when we talk about the Riders keep coming up. Disciplined, organised. There is such a strong sense of identity, isn't it? The players, Matt, know so clearly what Rob Paternostro wants from them.
Yeah, and I think Rob's got that adaptability as well. I mean, he sees the game so well, and obviously when Gina went down, brought Connor in, made some adjustments, and the system's still fluid, you know, and that's what makes them impressive. Yeah,
we have to remember as well, Kieran, for all their defensive prowess, they rank third in the BBL in terms of points per game. They lead the league in shooting percentage. This is a potent offense as well.
They're such an efficient team, and I think that comes, you know, we've got guys like Darian Nelson-Henry who can post up but become a playmaker from the post as well. So then you just have to surround yourself with shooters, you know, and I think that's what they get a lot of good looks at the basket.
That versatility that Matt was talking about was really put into action when Zach Jackson suffered a season-ending injury. So Coach Paternostro had to shuffle the pack. And when Jackson went down, the Riders needed to strengthen their hand. So Coach Paternostro went all the way back home to Connecticut to find his guy.
Heron gets it off in the end and in off the glass. Round to Heron. This time it's all string from Mustafa Heron.
Mustafa Heron is a talented basketball player who's been a talented basketball player ever since he was 14, 15 years old, highly decorated player. Being from my hometown, I followed his career. So when Zach Jackson went down, we had to make a decision, and we had to make a decision quickly. And so I wanted to find someone that had the size like Zach, had the strength like Zach as well. And Mustafa was a guy, for me, that fit into our team well.
Kicked out in front to Heron. Heron driving hard, and welcome to the BBL, Mustafa Heron.
So my journey to the BBL pretty much started with Coach Rob calling me, saying that it was a guy that was hurt and that, you know, they probably needed somebody to come in, play right away, and, you know, contribute to the team.
Johnson out in front, gives it back to Heron, who lays it in for two.
The feeling of getting straight off the plane and coming to play, I was definitely excited. I hadn't been playing, you know, for about a year, so just kind of working out back at home, playing a little bit of pickup. I knew I wasn't going to be in game shape, you know, right away, but at the end of the day, once you kind of get that rhythm back, basketball, no matter what level you're playing at, is basketball. Put the ball in the hole and then stop the other guy from doing it.
Spinning, gets a shot way off the glass.
After doing my research on the Riders, the first goal is, you know, trying to keep up with the standard. There were a little bit of nerves just from not playing basketball in a long time, but as far as joining a championship program, I think throughout my basketball career, I've been on championship teams, so I kind of know what you have to bring to the table on a day in, day out type of basis in order to obtain the championship at the end of the season.
Round to Heron. This time it's all string from Mustafa Heron.
I would define my role not only in the Leicester Riders system, but any system I've played in, is just as somebody that whatever it takes in a certain game, you know, for us to get a win. You know, sometimes you might be the leading scorer, sometimes you might be the leading rebounder, sometimes you might be the guy that's cheering somebody else on. So I think it's just being a good teammate first, and then just being somebody who's aggressive all the time.
Heron spinning, trying to find some room, gets it off in the end and in off the glass.
Having joined halfway through the season, I think winning the league championship is very encouraging. It definitely gives you that extra boost going into postseason. You can always feel when it's a postseason, the intensity turns up like the second it hits postseason. So it'll definitely be a refreshment and a restart, but for me, it's kind of just trying to keep building on what I've already been trying to build on. The focus for tonight's game is, first of all, come out with a win, no matter how we got to do it. Then just to grow and learn from everything, you know, that we've, you know, been going through for these last couple games, and then just to build and keep gaining momentum going into the playoffs.
Matt, it's difficult enough to acclimatise to a new team, a new country, a new league, even more so when that happens mid-season. How impressive has it been that he's slotted in so well?
I think it's always difficult for a player to do that, but I think Mustafa's come in. He's found a way to contribute immediately, and there's a lot more to come from the young man. He's played in a big conference in the US. He's a pedigree player, and genuinely, you know, can drive, stop and shoot. He's got a triple, and I don't know if we've seen the best of him yet.
Oh, okay, well, that's worrying for the rest of the league if that is the case. Let's find out the take from his coach, Rob Paternostro, delighted to say joins us now. Hey, Coach, Mustafa's had pretty big shoes to fill, but he's done so fairly comfortably, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's come in, and I think that on the court, he's done a good job. He's physical, strong, athletic, but off the court, he's done a great job. He's really fit in well with the guys. I give the guys a lot of credit as well, you know, bringing a new guy in at this stage of the season. They made him feel comfortable, and he's done a good job on the floor.
Listening to him in that interview, he talked very much about having a winning mentality, being used to having a winning mentality. How important is that for you when you're scouting players to bring to the Riders, that they get that, they understand that?
Yeah, it's always important. We look to see what the win-loss record is, where they played, and yeah, with Mustafa, again, he's from my hometown, so I don't think he lost a game in high school. You know, they dominated the state of Connecticut back there at Sacred Heart High School, and I knew about him for a long time, knew what kind of player he was, but more importantly, to be honest with you, I knew what kind of person he was, and I think to fit in a team mid-season that's doing so well, you got to be a special person, and Mustafa is that.
Well, speaking of special people, Gino Crandall, great to see him back in action after missing some games through injury. Double-double off the bench against Plymouth for him. The Raiders ran you close, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, that was a tough game. I mean, the Raiders have been playing good. They were the hottest team in the BBL, so yeah, it was a great game. We found a way to get into overtime. I think that was important, and once we got to overtime, we made some clutch plays, so it was a heck of a game. Too bad nobody was there, because that atmosphere would have been incredible.
A win tonight and a London loss means you take the title. Are you keeping an eye on the Lions score, Coach?
No, I'm not. You know, I'm sure Pablo Vasquez is, though. He'll let me know. He'll whisper it in my ear. But, no, we got to forget about that tonight. We have a really good team we're playing against with a lot of good players. So, you know, we just got to play basketball. You know, you got to block out the outside noise and just play basketball and see where you are at the end of the game.
Coach, you got work to do tonight. We'll let you go. Good to see you.
Thank you. See you.
Gino Crandall is the front runner, I think, in many people's estimation for MVP. Leads the team in points per game and assists. He's just electrifying to watch, isn't he, Matt?
Yeah, he's incredible on the ball. You know, he's a great creator. In pick and roll, he looks like, you know, time stands still to make the decision. He's just has that IQ and that versatility in his game, you know, and I think he's a tough one to beat for the MVP.
The great players do, don't they? Make the Matrix style, make everything seem to slow down around them. William Lee is shooting Kieran over 60%. That places him in the top 3 in the league. He's hugely influential at the other end of the court as well, over 150 defensive rebounds. So if Crandall is the floor general of this side, what's William Lee?
He's just a get-it-done guy. You know, he is the glue to this team. Like, he made so many big opportunities, like big offensive rebounds, the big block, the extra steal, makes the wide open 3 when it's called upon. Like, he just does whatever it takes to help this team win.
A lot of clutch players in this Leicester side, aren't there?
They're just a clutch team. I think they just possess the clutch gene, and that goes down to Rob's recruiting. You know, he knows exactly what he's looking for.
But it's interesting when you consider that some of their few losses this season came in the trophy, came in the cup, and Gino Crandall was telling us, Kieran, that those 2 defeats, really important defeats, really steeled their focus for the title.
And I think that's what it had to be. You know, I think as a player, you have a mindset. Either you can learn from that and use it as focus and motivation, and that's exactly what they did. They have the leaders to help motivate their players and get focused. And again, I think the playoffs is their goal at this moment in time.
Let's talk about the leadership. Mustafa Heron said in that feature, Matt, it's about the team. I'll do whatever it takes. So, as we've just seen, some great individual players here, but they play as a team, don't they? Not as a collection of great individuals.
No, but there's a few pieces in the puzzle that we've not talked about. Connor Washington and Jamel. You know, they're young British guys that have come through the Leicester Riders system. They're Rob's guys, and that helps with the culture and identity of the team.
Connor Washington stepping up really strongly when Gino Crandall was out injured.
Absolutely, and his leadership in those games, specifically against Bristol, you know, where he carried them for nearly 40 minutes, or no, for 40 minutes. It's just what you need.
Let's talk about Newcastle's most recent game. We referenced it a bit earlier, Kieran. They were 15 points up going into the 4th quarter. They gave up 35 points to Manchester in the 4th quarter. What went wrong? That's uncharacteristic for an Eagles side to do that.
I'm still trying to work it out. You know, Manchester just threw a big punch And I was waiting for Newcastle to respond. I've seen it a couple of times, in the past. Newcastle get punched, but they just find a way to kind of grind it out at the end. They just not find a way to grind these games out at the end, and that's a scary thing to have. But like I said, they're very, very capable.
Given the talent that he's got, Coach McLeod, and the fact he's got a locker room of winners that we talked about earlier, how frustrated is he going to be, given the fact that they've gone 6-9, Matt, in all competitions over the last couple of months? This is a side that cup winners. They were many people's serious title contenders for much of the season. That's terrible form for a team of that caliber.
Yeah, the pressure's on, but remember who he has on the floor for him. And the Newcastle programme will always play with pride. They've got a strong work ethic. They're very disciplined. And to put things in context, some of the teams they've met are in their ascendancy. Manchester are chasing eighth spot. That could be as dangerous as playing the league leaders.
Right. Well, let's have a look at the team head-to-heads. Newcastle, as Matt says, one of the heavyweight teams in this division, partly because of their fast-paced offense. They rank second in the league in points scored. The Riders, of course, rank second defensively in points conceded. So, Matt, how does this Riders defense match up with that fast break, fast ball that the Eagles love to play?
I mean, I think you touched on it a little bit earlier. The Riders scoring more now as well. So if the ball's going through the net, they have the ability to set up Coach Paternostro's defence, perhaps negate one of the super strengths of Newcastle.
Points in the paint. Newcastle, the number one team in the BBL, Kieran. Who's going to be key on the Riders' side to limit that damage tonight?
Obviously, you're going to look at the inside presence. You've got William Lee there blocking shots, Darian Nelson-Henry, Ali Fraser. But it's Jamel Anderson. It's such a team effort, though. That's the thing about Leicester Riders. Their team defence is phenomenal.
Team leaders here, the Edwards and Fletcher show on Newcastle's side. Crandall and William Lee for the Riders, and Connor Washington appearing there, leading Leicester for three-point shooting, but both sides under 40% in terms of their three-point leader. The difference, though, when you consider, say, someone like Martin Batwek for your Wolves, almost 50%, they don't have anybody like that. But in the Riders' case, they've spread the ball around a lot more.
They're moving the ball, but I believe both teams will be generating more possessions as well. So, we've got to be mindful of that. We are a good shooting team, a good half-court system team, but I think with more possessions, you're going to get higher returns, obviously.
All right, we will find out soon enough whether Leicester are going to be champions, because if they win tonight and London don't, then the Riders will be crowned kings. All the first half action is coming next. Welcome back to Newcastle. We're ready for game time. 2 of the big hitters in the BBL ready to go. So let's get over to our commentary team and say a very good evening to Antro and Dan Routledge.
Good evening, Nat. Good evening, everybody. Let's get straight into the starting fives. And Ant, an interesting move for the Newcastle Eagles with Darius Defoe in the starting lineup.
Well, he's won 26 trophies, Dan, and you're trying to find some sort of form, so maybe this shake-up in the starting five will work, but you still got that arguably the best backcourt in Fletcher and Edwards, and Justin Gordon getting strength on strength in every game that goes on.
And for Leicester, still bringing Gino off the bench, but Connor Washington has been playing fabulous for them at the point guard position.
He has. He's been such a great figure for these guys over the last coming weeks, and you've still got that firepower, coming off the bench from Crandell. But Heron, William Lee, Nelson Henry, we talk about these guys, high-efficiency shots, and very exciting to watch.
Well, we're almost ready to go, and before every game this season, as we have seen, the players taking the knee in opposition to racism and inequality. And today we will also be taking a minute's silence in memory of the Duke of Edinburgh. Here we go then. 2 of the great names in British basketball going head-to-head, the Leicester Riders and the Newcastle Eagles, and we will try that jump again. It wasn't quite clean. And for the Riders, the title is within sight. It is Newcastle have the first possession of the game with Fletcher to Defoe. The challenge shot at the elbow comes out.
And that's a shot Darius Defoe really likes, and it makes that a high rate, and I'm sure they're going to look to get him involved early.
Here's Johnson inside to Nelson Henry, has the smaller his back, and he throws it away, kind of discombobulated. I'm pleased to say Matt Newby has joined us up in commentary. An interesting matchup there.
Yeah, Gordon and Henry, they're going to look to exploit that.
Turnover on that occasion. Newcastle get the ball back. Here's Fletcher. Again working the pick and roll with Defoe. This time he gets to the basket, finishes well.
Could use that pick and roll again, but instead of settling for that jump shot, Defoe finds a way to get to the basket. A tough finish there.
Here's Washington. Back to Heron. Heron puts the ball on the floor off the glass, a little short, and that deflected off Gordon last will be a Leicester ball.
Again, Mustafa Heron just trying to make something happen there. Didn't quite come off, but an active Nelson Henry keeps possession for his team.
Here's Johnson. Gets the ball back, and the foul is called on the floor. Darius Defoe, the offender.
See, a little bit too aggressive there, that slap down. As soon as you slap down the referees, it's an easy call.
It's going to be a physical mode tonight, so hopefully the rest don't intervene too much.
Here's Washington. Heron along the baseline, shovels it mid-range, Lee, and that's pretty much automatic for William Lee.
It really is, and he's a guy that we often don't talk enough about. He's shooting 61%, a high flyer, great help defender, very big piece of this puzzle of why the success of this Leicester Riders team.
Fletcher along the baseline, ball comes back out to Edwards, tough shot on the fall away, is short. There's 2 athletes going right after it. Lee eventually wins the battle with the ball. Heron for three, off the mark, and batted away by Nelson Henry. Fletcher's going to take the triple. Back iron, rebound Nelson Henry.
Riders got away with one there. They failed to locate Ramon Fletcher, and just in case you haven't noticed, he's a guy that could put 38 points on the board.
He got 36 of them in the first 3 quarters as well. Here's Nelson Henry batted away. And again, Newcastle knocking the ball loose and forcing the turnover. Defoe on the trail, runs in. Shot comes back to him. Second attempt is off as well. He's still going after it. Eventually, Leicester smuggle it away. Here's Nelson Henry. And there's going to be a foul on the floor with Gordon, the offender.
They usually look to establish Nelson Henry very early, get him in a nice position in the key for a post-up play.
Absolutely, he draws a lot of attention, and as we touched on in the pre-game, he passes the ball very, very well.
Here is Nelson Henry driving in and knocking Defoe to the floor, and the offensive foul called against him.
That might endorse the choice to start Darius tonight.
Yeah, he can bring you so much. I mean, he's already put points on the board, but beating his man to the spot there, and he knows he's played in this league long enough. And Nelson Henry picks up the offensive foul there.
Yeah, there'll be little plays like that down the line that'll take them to a win.
Well, 2 results have to go Leicester's way in order for the title to be secured. The other one down in London tonight. The Lions leading in the final minute. Looks like they're going to at least push it to Wednesday. Here's Fletcher. Out to Sayers. Back to Fletcher again. Left wide open. But he can't make them pay.
It's only a matter of time before he starts knocking those down. Another good look for Ramon Fletcher.
Great spin from Heron back to the basket for 2.
Just athletic and a lot bigger as well, and longer than Fletcher, is able to jump up over the defense there and finish the play.
Edwards out to Gordon in the corner. Here's Johnson looking to push quickly, gets it back to Nelson Henry in transition. Big man running the floor.
That's what both teams do really well. You're looking at first and second in the league of points in the paint. That's because they're big, so not only efficient, but they run the floor.
Gordon draws the foul.
It's an important matchup, and I can see them looking at Mustafa there and Jamel later on in the game, both integral to defending him.
Into Sayers. Gordon looking to attack. Foul is caught. I think it's on Washington. It is number 13 shown to the table.
Oh, you say that as well, Matt. I mean, he's one of those players, he's just a mismatch, isn't he? You know, against the bigger guy, he's quicker, he can drive by them, and then he can shoot the ball. And he put someone else smaller on him, then he can take advantage of them either in the post or driving by them also.
Yeah, he has that versatility.
I think a key area for the Eagles in particular, you know, they're clearly not shooting the ball very well in this game, but they haven't played very well as well over the the last March and April. So I think there's someone like Justin Gordon who can rebound the ball so aggressively and consistently. They're going to need him to have some more of those big 15 rebound games.
Yeah, absolutely. And those extra possessions will hopefully help the perimeter get in rhythm, get the interior in rhythm.
Beautiful passing from Leicester. Finds Washington underneath for 2.
Again, that's your 5-man there, threading the needle to your point guard. Quick reverse layup.
Oh, another blown score by Newcastle. They've had some decent looks at it, not finished. Washington slips but gets the pass away. takes the foul from Sayers, and Leicester are going to make their first substitution of the game. So too Newcastle, as we look back at the foul. But Crandall coming in. Mo Walker into the game for Leicester. Still working his way back. He's only played a couple of minutes in a couple of games, but a notable return for him.
And that's the behind-the-scenes thing as well, isn't it, Coach Matt? That we don't see, maybe what Mo Williams is playing well in practice, and that's why he's getting selected over Fraser in that role.
Yeah, and also I think it's sort of preparation for the playoffs, isn't it? If he is healthy, if he is well, we know what Ali can do. Let's give Mo a little bit of time. Let's get him in the system.
Here's Sayers in the corner for 3. Rebound from Maxwell, who also chipped in that break, and he gets his first points.
That's what they will get from Evan Maxwell. He is one of the best big men scorers in the league this year. 15 points a game, very, very solid.
Yeah, he does it in a few different ways. He's got that nice mid-range shot. He's good around the offensive glass.
Walker with the offensive rebound. Walker spinning past his man, deflected away. Is there a foul? I think there is. A foul, and Mo Walker will go to the line for 2. Well, the other thing about, we talk obviously about the league title for Leicester. If they could win it on Wednesday, say, then they've got 2 games next weekend that don't mean anything for them, and it would give them a chance maybe to stretch out Mo Walker's minutes ahead of the playoffs, as you say.
Yeah, and that's important for the team. It might be that they give certain players respite. It might be that Rob begins to look at some different things offensively and defensively.
Well, he's had a troubled start to his career, troubled 2 years in Leicester. Had the same injury on both hamstrings, needed operations both years. He was a phenomenal player in his time at Worcester. Here's Defoe. I remember him having a great game up here one year, giving Defoe all he could handle.
He also brings out veteran experience and high intelligence on the court.
Here's Lee, shooting over Pfluger and stringing the shot. Tough matchup that, with the length and the athleticism of Lee.
It really is. Pfluger's going to need some reinforcements there to be able to neutralise William Lee down low.
Yeah, I think Coach McLeod's made the right decision here. He's calling a timeout, talk things through, and maybe make some adjustments.
I mean, the positive sign for this Eagles team is, they're not taking bad shots. They've got good looks. Ramon Fletcher's had 2 open threes. Cortez Edwards has blown a layup. They're getting good looks in and around the basket, and they're just not converting. So, that is a positive, I think they could take from the Eagles camp at the moment.
Yeah, I think more of the focus will be on where the output's coming from Leicester.
Yeah, the negative to it all is 16% shooting, and that is why they've had to call a timeout here with 6.5 minutes gone and only 4 points on the board. You don't win games at that sort of pace, and it's not what we normally expect from the Newcastle Eagles either.
No, they sent their stall out early this season. They wanted to play this high octane, high tempo game, and I think a couple of teams have found a few solutions to that. And the most important solution is, if you can put the ball in the basket, you can set up your defense, get organized.
Well, the 2 teams making their way back out onto court. And Drew Lasker, as you can see, entering the fray. Crandall got a little hand on that.
Well, this is a nice high-pressure backcourt for the Riders. They're going to be able to really put the pressure on the perimeters.
Well, it's Anderson who's guarding Fletcher. It's incredible the versatility that he gives you. That pass is too far out in front. In the corner is Maxwell, and Crandall with the rebound.
feel if the shooting percentage doesn't go up, they need more activity on the offensive glass as well to Newcastle.
Jamel Anderson in the corner knocks down the triple. Fluger into the paint, and finally a basket for Newcastle. Few and far between here. Walker driving hard, and Fluger desperately pleading for a jump ball, but it's going to be a foul.
It's a really clever pass there from Gino Crando. If you notice, he didn't pass the ball directly to the chest of the big. He passed it a little bit ahead, which then gives the big the momentum there. And Mo Williams is so big and strong. That's all he needs. If he can get that, sorry, Mo Walker, if he can get that step in there, he's all the way to the rim.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's just Gino's understanding of the game. He's one step ahead a lot of the time. He leads a guy to basket, and he's a great asset.
Well, as you say, it must be a joy to work. I feel like I could get 10 points in the league on the pick and roll with Gino. His passes are that good that he could even find me open. Maybe I'm pushing it, but as you see, go get that one, big fella.
That's
you take
true
it right to the basket. Yeah. Yeah, it probably is. Even beyond the Jedi himself. Here's Fletcher finishing off the glass, looking for a foul, but it doesn't come.
That's a fantastic sign for the Eagles camp here. Ramon Fletcher getting on the board.
Here's Anderson, opposite corner, turns it down. Stripped away, great work from Fluger.
This is Jamel showing his versatility again.
I was about to make the point there. Here he is guarding Fletcher. When you guys played them the other week, he's guarding Jordan Williams, and it just shows the range of player that he can guard up against.
Absolutely, he's a high-level asset in that respect, and I think...
Nice pass and a two-handed hammer from William Lee.
Well, we said it time and time again. He spins off that pick and then finds the open, cutting William Lee for the jam.
Here's Fletcher for three, a little short on that one. Great work from Gordon to keep it alive. Ball is loose, Anderson keeps it in play. Crandall in transition, and the foul is called on Fletcher.
Wow. Just the intensity there on the boards, and then Gino Crandall, just the ability to keep that dribble alive. Jamel Anderson, again, a great play, and dribbles enough that Fletcher has to make contact there and commit the foul.
Crandall makes them both. And, well, whatever happens tonight, Leicester will not win the title here. The London Lions have beaten the Surrey Scorchers 92-84. Scorchers right in that game till about 3 minutes to go, and a few big shots from Liggins. Hit a big three and scored 6 points in a row to push London to victory there. So Leicester cannot win the title until Wednesday now.
That's a great defensive rotation. Great defensive rotation.
Fluger for three, off the mark. Maxwell with the offensive rebound, and he puts it back. Foul from Walker as well. 3-point play coming.
When the defensive set is that well in sync, you know, they've got to find a way to get these second chance opportunities. So a prime example there of Evan Maxwell just staying with the play. The initial shot wasn't even close, but offensive rebound, gathered himself and went back up strong.
Yeah, they're gonna need Evan to be a lot more aggressive tonight, and indeed the whole unit. It'll be you know, these 50-50 possessions that may dictate the outcome of the game.
So Rob mentioned before the game that his assistant coach Pablo would have an eye on the score. Do you reckon Pablo's relayed it to him yet, or is he going to wait till halftime?
I think he might hold. I don't know.
Pablo misses nothing, by the way, so I'm sure he's already got the score sorted. Here's Crandall. Over to Anderson, onto Falzon. Time ticking down on the offense. Crandall needs to go to work here. Loses the dribble, gets it back again, gets the shot away, but cannot score. There's a bump there from Falzon.
That's a good defensive possession there from the Eagles. Made things very difficult. Challenged that last shot there from Gino Crandall, and more importantly, Justin Gordon, strong rebound, pushed the ball.
Used his body well as well to get in front of the defender.
This will be an early test for the Eagles. They're a team that have been very good and very fluent offensively, and when they can't score the ball, that is their adversity. And we've seen in recent weeks them, I don't want to say throw in the towel, but that adversity has affected them negatively, and they've come up with losses in games because of that.
Because we've been focusing on the London score because of the implications it has on the title. I'm sure you're more interested in the other games, so I'll give you them. In second quarter, Bristol trailing Sheffield by a point, 2 points now, 24-26, and Glasgow up 5 in the second quarter, 31-26 against the Manchester Giants. Of course, Matt, right in the thick of that playoff race with all of those teams. Yeah. Crandall draws the foul.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting weekend when all the results are in.
So many permutations. I was trying to work it out the other day, but there are 16.7 million permutations, and even I gave up the chance of working them out.
You need to be a quantum physicist.
Maxwell sits down as Defoe checks in. That was the second foul on Maxwell.
It's a big blow for the Eagles. He's came off, and well, he's got 4 points at the moment, but he's the leading scorer, and he is that that source of offense that he can go to down low.
Interestingly, neither team's really gone to the interior heavy yet. No. You know.
Crandall stretches the lead out to 9. Newcastle looking for a last shot. Lasker gets it across to Pfluger for 3, and he misses. A slow start from the Newcastle Eagles here at the Virtue Motors Arena. They've got some points on the board, but they're trailing their great rivals by 9 here at the end of the opening quarter. It's 14-23. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Newcastle. About to get things underway here in the second quarter as the league leaders are 9 points up on the fourth place team. Oh, nice pass. And good challenge in the end from Edwards to make it difficult for Falzon. Edwards. Good pass to Fletcher along the baseline. Fletcher gets it away, misses everything.
Again, a tough ask there, Fletcher, trying to make a move down low in the post with a bigger defender.
Yeah, there's very few people that, you know, can hold Cortez, but Jamel did a great job there in the initial drive.
Another nice pass, that one from Johnson. The Bigs profiting from the guards, finding them in great spots. Gordon hitting the deck hard, he's fouled. He will not shoot two, that one on the floor. It'll be an end-line ball.
Massive contrast of offenses right now. You know, Leicester Riders looking very fluent and finding each other, you know, unselfish ball. And Newcastle Eagles, it seems like everything is so hard, so much more, you know, physical demand just to get to the rim or get a shot off.
I think that's, you know, some of that's credit Leicester with the physicality and the structure of the defence. You know, their policies and their philosophy. But some of it is that, you know, guys have to step up right now for Newcastle.
Anderson along the baseline is bumped, and that'll be a foul on Cortez Edwards.
Anderson trying to find some room on the baseline here. Cortez Edwards a good defender as well.
Knocked loose, but kept. Oh, good play there from Crandall. He was about to step out of bounds, saw Gordon on the floor already out of bounds and just dropped it on him.
It's just his ability to improvise and make the right play at that split-second decision, even if it is as simple as a off the leg out of bounds.
Tough shot, but well made by Corey Johnson.
We know what Corey Johnson can do from beyond the perimeter, but showing us his fadeaway inside.
Blocked by Fraser. Down low. Fraser working along the baseline, but just running out of room. And that will be out of bounds for Newcastle ball, but he was denying the points at this end. And you see there, just towed the line there. Gordon steps back to get himself some room, misses everything.
I mean, again, very strong, organised defence. They've obviously done the scout and just holding it down right now.
He's running into Defoe and getting nothing out of it. It's Fletcher driving hard. Nobody goes left better than him.
No, they do not, Dan. And tough finish again. I think a smart play from Crandall not to foul, but Ramon Fletcher finally gets some points on the board here for the Newcastle Eagles.
Well, Crandall just changing the pace on that and bursting through and drawing the foul, and that's going to be the second one on Edwards.
That's a big call.
It's huge, and I wonder what Coach McLeod's going to do. He's going to have to consider re-entering Edwards or Maxwell into this half, surely, because the offense is really difficult to come by at the moment.
They're already down 9. There's Johnson.
Hey, good defense by Drew there.
It's Fletcher to Defoe. Well, that's normally automatic for Darius Defoe, but comes back off the iron. Nice feed, kicked across the foul zone. He's going to take the 3. Offensive raise, and that's going to be a charge. And it's Lasker putting his body on the line.
Well, it wasn't the quickest of plays there with slow motion, but Drew Lasker did enough to get his body in the way and gets Ali Frazier to commit the offensive foul.
Well, they're going to need that right now, and Drew's come in, and that's 2 crucial stops. Hopefully that stems the momentum a little bit, and maybe they'll let the old guard lead a little bit.
Fletcher out to Lasker. Crandall hits the deck, so Fletcher is open. Leicester scrambling. Gordon's shot is way short. They've been miles off with some of them today. Crandall going all the way down court, poked away though by Gordon. Fletcher to the hole, not quite. Still trying to keep it alive, Newcastle. Oh, beautiful feed. Lasker at the second attempt. Anderson was inside the no-charge circle, so it couldn't have been an offensive foul. But he did get bumped out of the way, which allowed Lasker the offensive rebound.
And that's Eagles' lifeline right now. While their struggles continue on the shooting end, is that ability to create second, third chance opportunities for themselves. Drew Lasker does a phenomenal job there of staying with the play and getting it to go.
Yeah, hustle plays, you know, and Drew's got that old head on him as well. You know, at the defensive end, like we just said, he's made those 2 stops, taken a charge, and made his stand on the drive on the play prior.
From a Leicester point of view, 6 minutes to go to halftime. They're up by 9 here. 2 guys on the bench on 2 fouls. This is the moment for them to really put their foot on the gas if they can to try and get this game away.
Yeah, absolutely, and go at them more. Try and create more problems for Coach McLeod. You know, let's get another 2 guys on 2 fouls. Let's go inside. Let's be more aggressive on the penetration and really cause some problems.
Yeah, really good opportunity for the Riders team at the moment. They're on 4 points for the quarter, so it hasn't been by any means a free-flowing offense for them so far this quarter. So. But I think a part of that as well goes back to what you were saying, Matt. You know, the guys are on court for the Eagles right now. They're putting their bodies on the run. They're making defensive plays, making things a little bit more difficult for this Riders team to score the ball, as they had 23 points in the first quarter.
I think the thing with the Riders, you know, you have to stem the tide and be aggressive defensively, and also, you know, attempt to create problems for Coach Paternostro. Let's get some of the Riders in foul trouble as well.
Well, Nelson Henry looked like he had an easy go at first, made it more difficult, but in the end he gets his points.
Oh, he's no stranger to making baskets down low at awkward angles. We saw a big basket from him late in the game, the overtime win against Plymouth Raiders.
Shot that forced overtime. Fletcher. Down to Defoe. Cross it goes to Gordon for 3, and this time he knocks it down.
That was a good-looking shot, and he stepped into that one, and I think the confidence to take that as well after missing some ugly shots before. Big shot there.
He needed that one.
No, he was 1 of 6 before then. And Lee gets in close, and his foul by Sayers will shoot 2.
When you're playing from behind, you need good things to happen at both ends of the floor. You hit a 3 and then you commit a foul on the other end, and giving William Lee an opportunity to increase the lead by 2 more points.
Sayers joins the 2 foul club as well.
I mean, if they're going to create a short rotation for Newcastle in the next couple of minutes, that's going to be a big advantage.
Lee makes the second of 2. Sayers. Cross court to Defoe. Shot clock getting low here for Newcastle. Good block from Nelson Henry. Crandall pushing hard, spins it in off the glass.
Wow, full speed, straight to the rim, elevation and finish there from Gino Crandall. Incredible play.
Lasker driving back, drops it to Sayers, good pass, and 2 more for the Eagles.
Drew Lasker making positive things happen. It was all in that penetration there, and Louis Sayers cuts at the perfect time.
Lasker trying to do the little veteran move there of wrapping up the big fella so he can't get to the ball, but the referee wise to it.
Yeah, we're seeing Newcastle bring the changes again, but there needs to be more aggression from other players. You know, you go back 2 phases. Lewis has 2 opportunities to attack. One from the point. He had probably a jump shot in the short corner and passed it up. And they're going to need Pfluger and Sayers to bring something tonight.
Pfluger and Maxwell back into the game. Here's Maxwell guarding Nelson Henry, and he goes past him, takes the foul. It's on the floor, so the basket won't count, and that is going to be the coach's nightmare. You put him back out there on 2 fouls. I'm sure the last thing he said before he walked out is don't pick up a foul. 10 seconds later, he's sitting back down.
Such a soft one as well. I'd be very upset at myself if I'd picked that one up there. And you know, sometimes you've just got to you stand straight, be strong, and just hope you do enough to put the player off. But that is not an ideal situation, and no, you don't want to see picking up a foul so early after being reintroduced. And putting the coach puts the trust in you to put you back in the game.
Yeah, but Henry knew where he was going.
Yeah.
He saw the matchup and went straight at him. And, you know, that shows the savvy of Henry. And like you say, Maxwell just needs to be smart in that situation because he knows his position.
They've got a smart team, Leicester. A couple of Ivy Leaguers out there, Northwestern as well. You don't get into those schools unless you've got good grades as well as being a good player. Here's Pfluger for 3. Henry, University of Pennsylvania with the rebound. There he is looking to go. Wow! Kenny will turn that into a 3-point play.
Such an asset to have is to throw the ball down low to your big man who shoots around 60%. If he hasn't got a good look, his vision is very good and he'll kick it out or pass to a cutting player. Great play on that occasion there for the and 1.
Denikin's challenging the call, but he didn't do his work early, unfortunately. And with Henry, you've got to do your work early because otherwise he's going to exploit you.
Well, he's got to roll the dice here, Coach McLeod. 3:49 to go. This is where the game is being decided in almost. I mean, they're down 13, potentially 14 if Nelson Henry makes the free throw. They've got to win these next 3:49.
Yeah, and maybe he's got to think about how he's defending the post or potentially changing the defense to give him a little bit more backup on the interior.
Well, he certainly needs something.
Throwing the ball down low to your very versatile big man. You know anything about that?
Who are you on about?
Of course, we've seen it, Dan, week in, week out. Jordan Williams of the Worcester Wolves. Again, an unbelievable presence down low, but he's someone as well that will distribute the ball and pass to his teammates if it's not on for himself.
Yeah, good IQ, and actually he's got a lot more versatility than the back down game. It's just so happens he's bloody strong.
He certainly is. You say week in, week out. It's day in, day out over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for that schedule.
Nelson Henry trying to convert the 3-point play. Here's Lasker. Fletcher around the screen. Cross court to Pfluger. 5 on the shot clock. Fletcher has it. Lasker in the corner, sets himself, misses the 3. Here come Leicester in transition with Heron. Heron on his own, went for the jam, but was denied by Denikin. And away comes Lasker. Lasker throws it up high. Fletcher cleans it all up.
Wow, what a defensive effort there from Denikin, and it energizes his teammates there. Before you know it, they're out in transition, and Lasker doesn't make the shot, but it's okay because they've got people running the floor and Fletcher finishes.
Darius has taken it personally now. He's matched up with Henry.
Well, he's on the floor now, so they're scrambling a bit here. Heron for three, and Newcastle get punished for that.
An absolute dagger there, and Darius Defoe's gambled, and it hasn't paid off, and the Leicester Riders have punished the Eagles.
Coach McLeod might be flirting with a technical warning here.
I think they might be trying to say it could have been a backcourt violation. I must admit, in real time, I thought it was Defoe who deflected it into the backcourt, and therefore it would be live to play. But there's obviously a bit on the moisture on the court.
Was that a technical warning there? Or not?
Well, there was a conversation. I didn't see the signal. Right through the hands, he's managed to keep hold of it there. Defoe, nice little fake, but stumbling over. I think he'd lost his own footing. He might get a technical here. He went straight to the referee, but he managed to control himself.
Potentially took too much contact there, and they've called a lot down the other end.
Here's Lee in the corner for three off the mark. Fletcher driving in, denied by Crandall. Gets it back. Luger. Oh my goodness! Lee pins it to the board. Oh, they've given it. He's pushed that onto the backboard, hasn't he?
Goodness me. It looked good from where I was sitting, and he was so athletic, he was way above the ball.
He's pinned that to the board. He's pushed that to the backboard.
Wow.
It's a clean block.
Clean block.
Yeah.
You don't see that every day, just because he was elevated so much higher against the ball, which looks a little bit unorthodox. But the referees
well, I think he got up so high. He was the one that pushed it down, so it wasn't on its downward trajectory. He was almost spiking it like in volleyball.
It is. It looks like a volleyball spike. There, he pushes it onto the backboard. If the ball's hit the backboard, you're not allowed to interfere with it until it's hit the ring, but he's pushed it onto the backboard.
Tough call.
Oh, does that push that out of a top 10 player, or does that still qualify? What's the criteria there?
I'm sure if you tweet it will be okay.
It'll be okay. Lob to Lee. Oh, good hands from Lasker to steal that away.
Drew Lasker's had a positive input in this game.
Fletcher all the way to the basket. And Rob Paternostro wants to talk things over with 1:18 to go.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy. You know, there were 15 clear and really dictating the tempo, and it's just got a little bit untidy. And, you know, Newcastle will now be looking to try and get this, you know, if they can get a couple of makes in this last minute or so, they're going into the locker room with something positive to talk about.
Well, there's been plenty going on in the last few minutes here. We had the thing with Defoe diving on the floor that Newcastle thought was a backcourt violation. Defoe going down here, and he was looking for a foul. We had what looked to us like a block, but here's another look. See, I thought Defoe pokes it. Oh, does Washington knock it over into the backcourt? Maybe it is a backcourt violation. Let's see.
Yeah,
it is a backcourt violation.
Referee had a good look too. Referee was right there.
It's not always easy in real time, no. Even if you're right in situ.
Well, back out come the two teams. 1:18 to go. Leicester ball from the end. They lead by 11. Crandall over to Anderson. Driving in, getting all the way to the rack, but too strong on it. Gordon, Darius Defoe, top of the key.
A couple of those good looks that haven't dropped for him this evening.
Nelson Henry along the baseline, but not quite over the rim.
This is an important possession.
And Fletcher has got a chance to make it 3 points.
Mustafa Heron, the new addition, or the latest addition to the Riders team. He'll know on the stat sheet, the scout report, not to let Ramon Fletcher go left, but easier said than done. And Ramon Fletcher changes hand with a dribble there and finds a way to get to the rim.
It's also one of those fouls that he didn't really do anything to the shot either. It's not like you even made it hard for him on the shot. It's almost like if you get beat, give up the points rather than give him a chance to turn it into 3, although he doesn't take it.
We also had the foul to give though.
Yeah. Here's Washington. And down low to Nelson Henry, and foul call from behind on Defoe. He's got his arm on the body. They don't mind you banging away, but as soon as the ball comes, anything but a forearm bar is usually called.
Yeah, the players are making the point on the floor that they started early with the light contact. Now they've got to call it all the way through. So the board might be a little brighter by the end of the third.
Might be. As the foul markers go up and up. He makes both free throws. Leicester's lead is double figures. Can they hang on to that to halftime? Newcastle will take the final shot of this second quarter. Fletcher blocked by Nelson Henry and tipped out of bounds by Lasker. And the referee was about to point Newcastle's way and then realised that it was up court rather than down court. He should have been pointed.
Second time Nelson Henry's got the block on Fletcher today.
Crandall from the halfway line is off the mark. A well-run out-of-bounds play from Leicester. They will go into the locker room with an 11-point lead, and they've looked pretty comfortable for it here in this first half.
They have, yeah. They had the little lull offensively, the Riders, but they end up scoring 19 points in the quarter in the end. But no, they've looked very comfortable. I felt like they've looked the aggressor, and they've looked the better team. And I think utilising as well their players going to the rim and getting the Newcastle Eagles commit the fouls, who are in significant foul trouble at the moment.
Newcastle, one of the best shooting teams in the league, but Leicester, one of the best at making their opponent shoot poorly, and they've shot poorly here tonight, Newcastle.
The Riders' defense has trumped the Newcastle Eagles' offense at present. You know, even shots as well that we typically see being made, Ramon Fletcher threes, and Cortez Edwards has really struggled as well to find any sort of consistency, but that's been due to the defensive pressure and presence of the Leicester Riders.
The rebounding battle as well being won by Leicester. Interestingly, Newcastle have 9 offensive rebounds, but only 9 defensive rebounds. Part of that offensive rebounds were because they've missed so many shots. And if you heard any inappropriate language, we do apologize for that. The Leicester Riders looking good here at the half. 42-31 up. Let's get some reaction down courtside with Nat.
Thanks, Dan. I'm with Darian, Nelson, Henry. Darian, solid first half for the Riders as far as the scoreboard is concerned. How about the performance?
Yeah, I mean, it was a hard-fought battle. It always is against Newcastle, and you know, we're happy with the results so far. But we had a couple of lapses mentally, so we just want to keep those to a minimum and keep trucking along like we are.
I'm sure you hear about that from Coach Paternoster at halftime. Title very much in your hands, of course. Did word of London's win filter down to you during the first half?
No, not at all. We're just trying to stay focused on us and control what we can control. Yeah, we're not focused on anybody else but us right now.
Good to see Mo Walker back out there. He's missed so much of the season through injury, coming back into the fold at just the right time, of course, with the playoffs coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's an absolutely talented guy, talented scorer, big defensive presence, good rebounder. So having him out there is going to help every team, and we're just happy to see him back out there and healthy.
I know you're saying you can only deal with what's in front of you. You could win the title against London on Wednesday because they've beaten Surrey tonight. That could be one of the games of the season, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a hard-fought battle, as it is every time against London. You know, and the fact that it makes it for a potential championship victory makes it just that much bigger.
Thanks for talking to us, Darren. Work still to be done, so we'll let you get back to it.
Absolutely.
Leicester edging closer. It's an 11-point lead at the half, and they've looked pretty comfortable for it as well. We'll break down how they found it so straightforward and whether Newcastle can find a way back into it next. Welcome back to Newcastle at the half. The Riders lead the Eagles 42-31. Remember, Leicester can't win the title tonight, but if they close this game down, it's one significant step towards landing the championship. And they found it pretty plain sailing so far. We look at the match stats, well, Eagles' three-point shooting is poor, and we knew that would be a key part of the game. Overall, their shooting, frankly, isn't on point by their typically high standards, certainly inside. Leicester far more efficient in most phases of the game, although they haven't been great from three either. But Rob Paternoster will be pretty comfortable overall with that performance, even with the odd dip in the second quarter there. We can highlight the struggles, Matt, that Newcastle are having offensively in terms of that they're not executing, but Leicester are making it so hard for them defensively, aren't they? They're not getting many easy looks.
No, they're very well organised. The scout is on point. They're negating normally consistent threats.
I mean, the only thing that I would say is that Darius is 1 of 9 from his range right now, so I don't see that lasting, you know?
Yeah, it's a combination, isn't it, of individual players that normally step up, not step up. In Leicester playing so effectively defensively, offensively, they're absolutely humming, aren't they? Well, they certainly were for much of the game. We talked about them, Kieran, being unselfish and organised. We're seeing so much of that tonight.
Yeah, their ball movement is phenomenal. They just know to distribute the ball. They're selfless. They get into the gaps. Not scared to make that extra pass for an easy shot. You see there, easy shot. In rhythm, you know the shot's coming.
Movement here as well from Connor Washington, Matt, is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, this is Leicester all over, though. They're running one of their basic offensive sets, but each player understands where they can get paid, and it's just a great read and a great pass.
Gino Crandall up to his usual tricks again. William Lee takes care of that, says thank you very much, Kieran. But, Gino Crandall's so key with that.
Just a playmaker making plays and making it easy for his player. You look at William Lee, his shooting percentage is up there because he's getting the ball put in a position for him to score and be successful every single time.
Selfless is a great word. Contributions from across this team right now.
I just really love to watch them. Ali Fraser fitted in really well when he came into the game. Mo Walker did a great job inside, interior-wise. So, yeah, they've just got the players. Jamel Anderson, Garden Fletcher, picking up full court, making big plays, getting big deflections. I just think they're a great team to watch. Efficient,
Composed, maybe not many highlight reel plays in the first half, but that's okay because it is that time again to take a look at some of the best, some may say some of the most disgusting plays of the week from the BBL.
He's cut the gap to 4 points, and once that Sam Cassell finds David Wolf, who comes in at the mismatch on the one flutter and lays it in.
That was a good look. Lobbed up the alley-oop and slammed in by William Lee. We're tied at 70. Wow. Crandall, he breaks away somehow. Will that count? Yes, it will! And one! Somehow, he turned it into a three-point play. Dusha getting all the way to the basket.
Nice move from Obisi Dusha. First to keep the dribble alive, but secondly to find a way all the way to the rim. Nice finish.
Hildreth all the way to the hoop and scores.
He is so good when he gets downhill like that.
Here's Ashley Hamilton. Lovely move, Ash Hamilton, and the dunk. And that sparked the Raiders bench. And the lead for the Raiders is up to 3 now. Lockett, windmill jam from Eric Lockett.
Ooh, that'll make a pretty picture.
Oh, that three was quite amazing.
Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed we diplomatically left out any Worcester Wolves players because we wanted you to be impartial, Matt, when I asked you which is your favourite player of the week.
I like the one they opened with the Cassell to Ulf lob. That was out the system.
Yeah.
I think Lloyd Gardner deserves some credit for that.
OK, that's Matt's. What about you? The most disgusting player of the week, Kieran?
What are we going with coaches here for? This is not about the coach, this is about the players. I love the Lockett dunk, but I had to give it to Ashley Hamilton. That was just absolutely disgusting.
OK, special praise for Obisi Dusha as well. Love that work from him. Plymouth getting stuff done. Speaking of which, how can Newcastle get it done in the second half? How can they turn this game around?
I think when you match it with Leicester, it's about the physicality. You've got to match it. You've got to match the tempo of the game, and you've got to keep the scoreboard ticking. Again, if you can set your defence and stay organised in the half court, you've got a chance.
Well, they're still very much in this game. It's an 11-point deficit at the half. And a team of this calibre rarely misfires for 4 straight quarters. So Newcastle will be looking for a comeback fast and quickly in the third quarter to set the tone and to get back into the mix. Leicester, on the other hand, well, they want to continue where they left off as they head towards the title. Second half next. 11-point lead for Leicester at the half as they aim to take one significant step closer to the BBL Championship. The cup winners, the Eagles, will want to have something to say about that second half about to tip off. So let's get back to Ant and Dan.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, Rob Paternostro and his team will have to wait till at least Wednesday to get the hands on the title, but a win here will mean they are one result away. Of course, Wednesday's game would be the title whether they won here or not if they won that game, but what they don't want to do is get into a thing where they have to win their last 2 games. So they're going to try and ensure they are one win no matter what by victory tonight. And I forgot to ask Matt Newby, who's joined us again in the commentary booth, of the other games. Who are you rooting for here? Bristol, Sheffield, which way are you hoping for?
I think, and I'm not trying to be discourteous to the Yorkshire folk, but I wouldn't mind Bristol taking that one from the Sharks.
I won't give you the latest score then. Sheffield are currently winning by 5, and I'm assuming you're rooting for Glasgow in the game against Manchester.
Yes, absolutely.
And Manchester are winning that one, I'm afraid, by 2, but there you go. Back underway here in Newcastle as Edwards gets to the basket but unable to finish. And he's had one of those nights where nothing has gone in so far for him.
The great thing about Cortez was he doesn't need to score the ball to have a really good game and input his imprint on the game. So he's just going to have to continue to be aggressive and try and find ways to impact the game in other areas.
That'll be a Newcastle ball from the end.
Yeah, they're going to need bigger output from Cortez and Darius now.
Sayers for Newcastle, out to Gordon for 3, and he knocks it down.
Confident looking shot from him as well. He made one in the first half, and you could see he's someone who's aggressively looking for that.
Washington all the way to the basket. Connor Washington for 2.
It's a tough finish, isn't it? And you know, as good as Fletcher is on his left, Connor Washington will be right up there with his right hand.
Here's Gordon again, head fake this time, drives in, Defoe, mid-range, and he's had a night as well where they've just not dropped for him, 1 of 10 now, and as you said, they're all in his range, they're all his shots.
Yeah, I mean, that's on the scout, that's what you'd expect from Darius, you know, those makes, but he's still managing to impact the game in other ways, which is positive.
Oh, his steal turns into points from turnovers, which was one stat where Newcastle were ahead at half-time.
That's what Cortez Edwards would need, a basket to get his confidence going and perhaps start a little run from him here in scoring.
Well, thrown away by Washington. More points off turnovers for the Eagles here.
Wow, the Leicester Riders played a very good first half, and we did forget to highlight that they had 10 turnovers at half-time, which is by far and above their average.
Almost another one there. Washington gets back, and that's going to be foul number 3 on Sayers.
I think Coach McLeod's probably got into them in the locker room and asked for a little bit more intensity and more discipline, and they're beginning to show a little bit of that.
Good hands from Fletcher, and there's going to be a foul on Washington. There's certainly upped the intensity at this end of the floor, Newcastle.
They have indeed, and causing the Riders' offense all sorts of fits at the moment. Turnover after turnover, that's 4 already this half for the Riders, and the Eagles are profiting the other end of the floor.
And Fletcher quite get the roll, but he will shoot 2.
Very, very rarely we will ever see that, guys. I want to see that again, because Ramon Fletcher missing from that close on his left hand is a rare piece of footage.
Newcastle been more aggressive at both ends, and certainly defensively just more active, catching deflections, getting on the loose ball and accruing more possessions.
That one wipes his feet but drops in. Eagles outscoring the Riders at 8-2 now with that free throw.
Well, they're finally playing like a team that needs to find some sort of consistent form heading into the playoffs, and I think a lot of Eagles fans will be watching and waiting, when is it going to happen? Even the games that they've won, they've had their spells of vulnerabilities or insecurities.
And another turnover. Oh no, it's not. There'll be a Leicester possession. Heron did leave it as if he was confident it was going to be his team's ball.
You don't turn the ball over there, but it's as good as a turnover in the sense of the psyche. They made things very difficult for the Riders here, and the energy levels and the intensity on defense is just another level compared to the first half.
There's just an issue at the table that the referee is attending to, unless it's shot clock related.
Usually is shot clock rated, isn't it?
Well, whatever it is, I think we're going to carry on. The shot clock is still at 11. Heron driving in. Defoe coming across, denies Heron at the basket. Fletcher looking to push. Edwards all the way to the rim but misses, and it's tipped out of bounds by Johnson and will be a Newcastle ball.
I can see the frustration there on Cortez Edwards. I don't think he can quite believe they didn't convert that play. Good aggressive move from him, but again, just wasn't able to execute. Darius Defoe, just activity there, causing Johnson to deflect that out of bounds.
Yeah, Tez has been uncharacteristically
Sayers knocks down the three, and Newcastle have cut this to 2. Rob Paternostro needs a timeout. 3 minutes into the third quarter.
That's a guy that can threes, and you could tell he wanted to let that one go. He gives him a split second to set his feet, and perfect release there from Sayers to knock down that three. And guys, we have a ball game. Here we are, 2-point game.
Newcastle struggled scoring in the first half. 11 points here in 3 minutes, mainly off their defense, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. They've created quick offense, transition. If Tez makes that layup, maybe the three doesn't drop after that, but there's a lot more intent from the Newcastle offense, and they're certainly causing problems, as Ant said, on the defensive end of the floor as well.
Well, we felt for a few minutes to go just before halftime, the Eagles were looking very vulnerable, but they've certainly come out the 3 minutes after halftime looking back to their best. The question now is, what is the response for Leicester coming out of this timeout?
Yeah, I think Newcastle dictated the tempo of the game for these opening minutes. I'm sure Coach Paternostro has just put a solution on the board.
I'm sure he has.
Or verbalised it, I'm not quite sure.
Definitely.
Well, let's see if the execution is to follow from the instruction.
Oh, Crandall loses it, and there is another turnover for Leicester. 5 turnovers in 3 minutes and 7 seconds here of the third quarter.
So, the last thing you want as well, just off the back of a timeout called by the coach.
Fletcher, all the way to the basket, levels the game at 44.
He caught that basket, he was downhill. Great first dribble there, all the way to left side of the basket for the finish.
Poked away by Fletcher, and here he is. Newcastle are going to take the lead. Incredible first 4 minutes to this second half. Newcastle absolutely flying out of the blocks, and they've outscored Leicester 15-2 in this period.
You very rarely see this Riders team get flustered in such a way that the Eagles defense has got them in a stranglehold.
Nelson Henry driving in. It comes to Heron, who converts.
It's a welcome basket there from the Leicester Riders, and Heron's activity got him those early points here in the second half.
Sayers this time in the corner, another three! And the Eagles are back in front.
They're rolling and the confidence is high. Great find from Ramon Fletcher. That's why he gets 10 assists a game, because he finds open guys. Lewis Sayers gives him a reward.
Heron to reply off the back of the ring. Eagles have it. Chance to run.
They have confidence now. There's momentum, and you know, players are beginning to deliver. You know, Lewis spotted up is dangerous.
Well, that wasn't a great screen by Gordon. He really side on, sort of turning into it. Gave the referee a decision to make, and the decision was moving screen.
Strange foul. We've seen that a lot this year, the moving screen. That was, I don't know if that would even classify as a screen. It was more of a shoulder barge and turn sort of thing.
And again, it's stolen away by Fletcher. Sayers to the scoop. Oh, but Leicester just watched as Gordon ran in to grab the loose ball.
Momentum has completely swung, and energy levels of this Eagles team right now are on 100.
Crandall to the basket. Gets them a score they desperately needed. Fouls on Fletcher. And an extra free throw to come.
That's the beauty of having a player of his caliber when the sink is when the ship is wobbling. Big time players step up and settle things down.
This is the danger here now with Leicester. Jamal Anderson and Connor Washington check in, and they're capable of big things defensively and generating offense as well. So we'll see if that adjustment makes an impact.
Well, he's searching for something here in the third quarter, Rob Paternostro. Edwards loses it, gets it back. Fletcher, that's a moving screen as well on Maxwell, and that's going to be his fourth.
I just said it, moving screens are called an awful lot, and
he's caught him with his knee, his leg too far out wide, and you're allowed to stand your ground, but you can't put your leg extended out like that.
Is that Maxwell's fourth now?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Crandall into Fraser to Anderson, and he wasn't a million miles away from his fifth there as he challenged a shot, Maxwell. That was a dangerous challenge.
Very risky challenge, but a good finish there from Jamal Anderson.
Fletcher along the baseline. Sayers in the near corner, and he hits another one. Third three of the quarter for Lewis Sayers.
Wow, he's hot hand right now, and Ramon Fletcher does the correct thing that all good point guards should do, is find that guy, and Sayers possessed right now.
Crandall somehow gets through for a basket. How do you guard that?
You can't, Dan, is the answer to that. Unbelievable, the ability to keep that dribble as well and avoid the turnover. Nice finish.
Oh, beautiful from Fletcher, splitting through the defenders for two.
Absolute clinic between these two all-star point guards.
Yeah, it's a matchup of potential MVPs there.
Crandall's going to take the three, and he misses it. Here's Gordon. Fletcher spinning into trouble and getting a foul. I think it's Fraser, is it? Could be Anderson who was in there as well. It is the number 8 that's shown to the table.
And both lead guards showing how crafty they can be.
wholesale substitutions for Newcastle. Well, Newcastle are expecting free throws, and the referees are saying no. It's an end-line ball. So Fletcher inbounds it. Sayers again! Yes! He's hit a fourth! Unbelievable shooting!
Lewis Sayers on fire. Taken over this third quarter. Knocks down another one.
Falzon is fouled by Defoe. And there's a little bit of chatter.
Darius Defoe getting called for the foul, and a little bit of afters there. Yeah.
It's a little bit of frustration over spilling there, and Darius ain't going to back down.
Well, the referee's having a conversation as to whether there's anything more than the foul. And there is a technical on both of them, is the decision. And that is worse for Darius Defoe than it is for Aaron Falzon, because that is going to be his fourth, I think. Well, there's a lot of conversation now, but Falzon has been called for his third and Defoe his fourth.
It's not the first time we saw that this year. I remember down in Surrey, Darius getting a double technical, and he didn't do very much for it. So I would have liked to have heard the dialogue there between those two, but as you said, Dan, I think it favours the Riders and disadvantage to Darius Defoe, who picks up his fourth.
I'm not sure why they got a free throw on that one, because if it was a double technical, wouldn't they cancel each other out?
Oh, it was the third foul initially, right?
Yeah, so the free throws are because they're over the limit, but the shot that Washington took, if there was technical fouls each way, they cancel each other out. I'm not sure why Washington got a free throw. He missed it either way, but... Oh, there was a bench technical I've just seen as well,
right, okay.
Thrown in there as well. On Newcastle's bench.
Leicester turn it up now.
Here's Fletcher. Shot clock counting down, fires up the three. Good box out. Leicester gets the ball back. Falzon for three! Knocks it down!
The altercation will fire players up, and clearly Falzon reacted and knocks down a three to reply.
Defoe wants to go right back at it. To the turnaround, and they're going right at each other here.
Oh, mano. Tough turnaround there from Darius Defoe.
Falzon put it on the floor this time. Crandall spinning, finds a little bit of room, but not quite enough. It's tipped in somehow by Ali Fraser.
Good persistence there from Fraser to somehow get his fingertips on that ball and get it to go.
Nice pick and roll. Oh, and hammered down. Sure, Adenican.
What an execution of that pick and roll there, and Adenican with a finish.
Anderson. Fraser running into the hook, gets his own rebound, goes back up again and can't convert. Wants a foul, probably should have gone for the rebound instead.
Got the last possession.
Fires up, off the mark, rebound Washington, unless to get it back. And the shot clock is still on, but there's not much between it and the game clock. So Leicester can tick this down. Trailing by 4, having given up 32 points in this third quarter. Crandall gets it away and off the mark, and that will do it for an excellent third quarter for the Newcastle Eagles. They've won that period by 15. And Coach McLeod and his team will go into the fourth quarter with a 4-point lead. Can Leicester reply? Find out when we've got the fourth quarter coming up right after this break. Welcome back to Newcastle, where Coach McLeod and his team have outscored Leicester 32-17 in that third quarter to take a 4-point lead. I mean, look, in all sorts of trouble in the first half. Here's Washington to start the game off here in the fourth quarter with a score for the Riders.
You can expect Leicester now to really turn up the heat, I think.
Yeah, we've already seen that. Jamal Anderson felt like he had a deflection on that, and it came off Cortez Edwards, but to see there.
Luger throws the alley-oop. He does get there in the end, but block! What a huge block from Ali Frazier. Washington. Oh, the big man's going to fire up the three, and it's off the mark. Gordon stepping to the hole and finishing well.
Oh, he's a really tough player at going left and right, and he's so athletic, he can pick up that ball there and really elevate to the rim.
Backing down to the spin. I thought for a second he'd missed the lane, but it does drop.
It was a quick spin and a good use of his body there.
He exploited the good matchup as well. Ali's got a wide frame. He can back him down and go.
Leicester in transition off the turnover. Washington to the hole, and he ties the game at 65. And, well, not even 90 seconds into the fourth quarter, Newcastle have seen enough of that momentum and have called a timeout.
Really positive response there from the Leicester Riders, and a good push of the basketball there. The last play there from Connor Washington. Tough finish, but nice play.
Yeah, and Ali doing work at both ends of the floor, gets the block, and then comes down, makes a post up. That was a tough finish.
Well, he's 4 of 5 for his 8 points, Connor Washington. And you do see a lot of him and Gino late in the game, and it gives them different options in the backcourt as to which of them can play one, which plays two, and it's very interchangeable.
Yeah, they went to that in the third and fourth against us last week, and having the two of them creating on the floor, it's a big problem. But thanks for bringing it back.
Yeah. Well, Newcastle trying to hold the momentum at the start of this fourth quarter, as Leicester have leveled things up. It'll be an Eagles ball from the end line. And Anderson running down court to play defense on Fletcher.
The good thing is that Newcastle haven't got a problem with Cortez and Ramon in terms of fouls now, so they can push.
Oh, it's turned over, is it? No, Edwards is able to save it. 5 on the shot clock, though, as Gordon fires up for 3 and knocks it down. Big shot for Justin Gordon.
Again, you can tell he's feeling really, really confident from beyond the arc now. A really slow start for him out there, but since then he's been able to convert.
Stolen away by Defoe. Here he is running, and he finishes. Darius Defoe out in front.
Oh, he's doing it all. Darius Defoe, 36, 37 years old, running the floor. Nice finish.
Washington gets it across to Fraser, who spins, and there's a foul in there on the reach on Justin Gordon.
Good patience here from Ali Fraser again, using his body and spinning baseline. Gets Justin Gordon to commit the foul.
Well, he's picked the ball up, so it's 2 free throws. Makes them both. Cuts the Newcastle lead to 3. Here's Defoe to the fall away. Tough one, but he knocks it down.
It's tough when he gets in a rhythm, and when he's someone who relishes that challenge, and you can tell he's got a couple challenges going on court right now with a couple matchups.
Yeah, absolutely, and he would have taken that first half performance personally, and he's come out and just made consistent big plays, both at both ends of the floor.
Here's Fletcher. Defoe. No way past Lee, though. Crandall in transition. Here's Sayers out in front with the jam.
Well, it was strange. Crandall missed the shot, and no one ran back in sort of slow motion for the Riders all the while. The Eagles are dunking the basketball, extending the lead by 7.
Here's Crandall. For 3. Misses everything. It comes off Anderson and out of bounds for a Newcastle possession. And Leicester are wobbling here with 6 minutes to play, down 7.
Yeah, I think that, they've shrunk the court a little bit on Gino. He's not able to create as freely, and there was maybe a little bit of expectancy on that drive, and the call wasn't made, and they got the freebie in full court.
Gordon attacks hard, but can't finish. Crandall driving in, and he can't finish. Foul as well. He'll go to the line for a bonus.
That's so tough. And as soon as he dribbles and penetrates to the rim here, he almost loses it. It's almost another turnover, but he's strong enough to withstand that swiping down of the basketball and then finish the ball over the defender.
He's got that strong ability to rearrange it even with the contact. It's very, very high level skill.
Well, he's got a double-double, but it doesn't include assists. He's only got 4 assists.
Only 4 assists, Dan?
Yeah, 12 and 10 rebounds, but only 4 assists. Edwards is going to take the 3, lead with the rebound. Crandall, a great pass, but a super block from Justin Gordon.
Basket-saving block there from Justin Gordon.
Now he attacks the rim, but not quite, but he lost his shoe in all of that. Tremendous block at this end of the floor to deny Nelson Henry, and then losing his shoe, but still able to take the foul.
Well, that much-needed response from Newcastle has carried through.
Has indeed. It's a different team. Jekyll and Hyde performances. In the first half, first 2 quarters, they scored 31 points, combining the first and second quarter. And in that third quarter, they scored 32 points, so they outscored themselves in the whole game. That one quarter, and I think the energy levels are still there in this quarter, and they're very much, carved themselves a healthy lead here.
Yeah, I think Darius has been great. They managed to save the fouls on a few guys, and now they're coming out bringing energy, showing a lot more discipline defensively, I think, as well.
Well, just to bring you update from the other games, they're in overtime in Bristol. It's 82-82 with 4 minutes to go in overtime. Manchester are going to win in Glasgow. They're 17 up in the final minute. Johnson to Lee. Offensive foul called against William Lee. Gordon taking the charge.
Some big defensive plays here from Justin Gordon. Block shots, taking charges, putting his team in a very, very advantageous position right now.
Gordon needs to get this in. Fletcher provides the option. Here's Fletcher getting all the way to the basket for the lay-in.
We know it, we've seen this time and time again. He took some contact there too from Washington, but it didn't matter.
Lee, well, he probably took the more difficult shot that was on offer, but he got the points, and that's all that matters for Leicester right now. Down 7 with 4.5 to play. Fletcher again in the lane, kicks it out. Gordon, big shot for 3, overcooks it. Here's Lee at the elbow, short.
They haven't looked to establish Nelson Henry down low or anything of that nature. Again, even if the post-up is not for him directly, he's very good at finding players. They haven't looked to establish any income in terms of offense that way.
I agree, and they've not been getting the returns that they have been this season from the pick and roll offense at all. I think Newcastle have hedged a lot better, contained things
Washington
a lot better.
For 3 off a broken play, couldn't knock it down.
It's a very important stop right now.
Defoe turns it over. Gordon almost steals it back. Johnson driving in. Strong off the glass for 2. And a timeout is called by Newcastle here with 3 minutes to go as Leicester cut the gap down to 5.
Wow, Newcastle was doing a really good job initially there. No 3 for Corey Johnson, swiped down there. Could have been an offensive foul with a wrap-up, but Johnson does a superb job of finding a way to get all the way to the basket and finishes.
Yeah, I think they've allowed a lot more contact in the second half, a lot more physicality. Not wrong, because it's both ways. Maybe they made an adjustment at the halftime, the officials, but it's probably benefited Newcastle most. They've Darius hasn't got into trouble. He's been allowed to produce at both ends of the floor, and again, credit to Coach McLeod. The pick and roll D looks a little bit more compact and a little bit more organised, and there's less holes.
Well, from Leicester's point of view, in terms of the title, whatever happens here, Wednesday can be decisive for them. Win or lose this game, it doesn't impact on the fact that if they win on Wednesday, they would win the league. But what it would impact is if they were to lose here and then lose to London, they would still need to win their last 2 games against Glasgow next Friday, which will be with us, and at Cheshire on the following Sunday. So what they're trying to do is get to the title line as quickly as possible so that those last couple of games don't mean as much for them.
This is a team that's been incredibly consistent, hence why they're top of the league, 22-4. Consistency that comes with that, and this will be a test for them here to see if they can somehow transform their fortunes in this game.
Well, they came from 4 down in the last 40 seconds on Saturday night against Plymouth. They're 3 minutes, well, just under, and 5 points down here. Here's Defoe at the free throw line, all string for Darius Defoe.
That is a shot that's not really fallen for him this evening. He was 4 for 14 before that shot, and that was nothing but net.
Nelson Henry getting it back, but he's brought it down on the floor. Ball is loose. Newcastle come away with it. Great defense from Defoe.
Great hustle by the Newcastle side. They had 3 or 4 guys trying to grab the loose ball.
It's games like this as well that can completely change.
He's got to be careful with them arms going forward, but then he knocks the ball loose, and Edwards gets involved, and Gordon's there. Sayers too.
Busy hands in the paint.
Now, if they manage the time and score, Leicester's going to be under a lot of pressure.
Well, a miss from Edwards. Here comes Heron. Heron driving strong, gets the roll.
Tough finish there from Heron. 2 defenders challenging there on that shot, but gets it to go. Soft touch.
Here's Fletcher. Stolen away by Crandall. He's all on his own, and he will jam it in, and it's down to 3.
That is an incredibly crafty and intelligent play there. The screen here, but he doesn't give up on the play. Actually comes around the other side and pockets that ball away from Fletcher.
Let's see if Fletcher goes back at him.
It's Gordon. He's trying to get it to Fletcher. And there's going to be a foul on Crandall.
Now they've allowed that for the second half.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting how this last minute and 20 seconds is managed by the officials as well.
Neither team in the penalty. Sideline ball. And there's 2 in a row on Crandall. That's Leicester's 4th. So it's still sideline ball.
Again, it wasn't a whole lot of contact there. We've seen, I feel like a lot more contact made in this quarter.
Lobbed into Gordon! Oh! What a jam from Justin Gordon!
Great entry pass there. Gordon rose. He was challenged, but it didn't matter. Don't finish.
Heron is pushed to the ground by Gordon. He will shoot 2.
Wow.
Don't know if the defense was caught napping or it was just the quick pass from Tez and on time, on target, and free highlight.
We've had a few of them in this game. Goodness me.
That the 4th foul on Justin Gordon. These 2 must-makes for Mustafa Heron, with Leicester trailing by 5. Oh, he's left the first one short. He makes the second. 4 points between them, 1 minute and 6 to play. They were 4 down with 40 seconds to go on Saturday, and they won the game. They're hoping to get into a similar position with the stop here. Here's Gordon. Running through, great finish from Justin Gordon.
Such a difficult matchup from Nelson Henry there, the foot speed.
Lob towards Lee, but too high and out of bounds, and that could be that. That could be that with 40 seconds to go and a 6-point lead for the Newcastle Eagles.
William Lee tried to catch it and salvage the play, but overcooked there from Crandall.
Justin Gordon came up with another big one.
Well, the referee just at the table again. You can only assume it's time related, whether they lost a second or something. There's a thumbs up, no adjustment, so it is 40.9. It's into Fletcher, it's poked away by Crandall. It's a Newcastle ball. They lost 2 seconds there as well in terms of getting it over the halfway line, although Edwards will do that easily here, will he? He stopped for a second, but he has. Just got that to Fluger. Newcastle looking to take time off the clock. The score at the end of this wins them the game. It's poked away by Crandall. It's kicked forward to him, and he will lay it in. And it's 4 with 20 seconds to go. Leicester have to foul, and they get the foul.
Wow. I've seen a fair few turnovers, and that was a big one. And a good pass then from Nelson Henry to find Crandall. It's like a wide receiver for the finish.
Well, it's a 2-shot game no matter how many free throws he makes here. But if he makes them both, they have to be 3-point shots.
Good shot from Fluger. That's his first trip to the free throw line. How about that? 20 seconds left of the game as your first trip to the free throw line.
And he makes them both. Leicester need a 3, they need it quickly. Here's Crandall. Crandall's going for 2 instead. He's called for the travel, and that will do it. And the title race will go to at least Wednesday and possibly beyond. Newcastle Eagles have bounced back in style here. It's into Gordon. He will run away, and time will run away, and the Newcastle Eagles are going to claim the victory. Leicester commit the foul, but it doesn't matter now with 9 seconds to go. Well, incredible second half from the Newcastle Eagles. With 4 minutes to go, we were wondering if in the first half, if Leicester could bury them here. And what a response in this second half, 55 points and counting.
I think you got to give credit to the players. They stepped up. They showed a different level of focus, a different level of discipline, and a different level of desire. And you know, with some cute adjustments defensively, they've stemmed one of the offensive team of the year at this moment in time.
Rob Paternostro is going to call a timeout. He's going to hope there is something, but there's no 8-point shot in the playbook for him with 9 seconds to go. That's what he needs.
Not even in Coach Paternostro's playbook, you're right, Dan, but this will be huge psychologically for the Eagles. You know, we commented on how they've struggled over the months of March and April, and I think just the psyche of knowing that they can beat this Leicester Riders team. It's been a long time since they first beat them in the BBL Cup semi-final way back when. So this will do them the world of good, I think, in terms of confidence and team belief going into the playoffs. And in contrast, this could do something here to the Riders. They have been almost immaculate in league play. The consistency they've done week in, week out of finding wins, whether that be 1 point, one-shot games or 20-point blowouts. The Leicester Riders have been the most consistent team in the BBL this year. But what does that do to them now? Because this is a game where they should close out and they should win it.
Yeah, you got to give some credit to Newcastle. Like, different guys stepped up and then just passed the baton, if that makes sense. So Sayers does his job, he makes his shots. Darius is a constant at both ends of the floor, aggressive. Fletch does what he does. And then, Justin Gordon at the close of play begins to show what we saw at the start of the season.
Sideline ball for the Riders. And it's stolen away by Edwards, and that will do it. Newcastle will dribble it out. In fact, they'll have a highlight jam to finish off and win this one by 10. Gino Crandall threw the ball there at Gordon in frustration. I think it's one of those things of you're not really supposed to dunk it in that situation. You're already up 8, the game is won, and there's a little bit of chatter afterwards. And I think Gordon there, you understand from his perspective, he's hyped for winning the game, but you're not really supposed to do that on the final play.
It was certainly an exclamation point.
Unfortunately for the Riders, that last play was an example of the overall game there. That would symbolise the 24th turnover for them in that game. And we know you cannot win a basketball game having turned the ball over 20 times there, and that was the exclamation mark, wasn't it, in the game?
It certainly was a great victory for the Newcastle Eagles. And for Leicester, well, the title is still 2 games away, unless they can beat London on Wednesday, in which they will take it by virtue of having the head-to-head in all of that. Just a quick one that Manchester won in Glasgow and Sheffield won in overtime in Bristol. And look at the shooting numbers for the Newcastle Eagles, how they went up in the second half, Anne.
It was incredible. And I think the second half in particular, Lewis Sayers and Justin Gordon, they carried them from the three-point line together. They shot a very, very efficient from the three-point line, which naturally brings up their overall percentages, which looked very dismal at halftime.
Well, an important victory for the Newcastle Eagles. They've beaten the Leicester Riders 90 points to 80. Let's get some reaction courtside with Nat.
Thanks, Dan. With our MVP, Justin Gordon. Justin, congratulations, our MVP. What a comeback. Talk us through that second half, in particular, the start to that third quarter.
Just the start to the third quarter was just to carry on what we did from the first half. Only difference was we hit shots. We were trying to change our culture, get our team in more of a defensive mindset, defensive priority. And, it showed. It showed us who we are all season. If we come out and play defense, we can hold with anybody.
Playing defense, 24 turnovers for Leicester tonight. It's rare that you see a Riders side give up the ball so readily, so freely. What was the key to that?
Just playing together, everybody playing on a string as far as defense goes. Anybody has to, you're not going to stop one-on-one every single defensive possession, especially when you got crafty guys like Gino and Connor creating for their team. It's being able to play on a string as a 5. You're not going to stop a team with just 1 or 2 people on defense, and we showed that tonight. We played with a full 5.
It's great to see you back in action. How have you felt since you come back from injury?
Pretty good. I wouldn't have came back if I didn't feel good enough to play. And shout out to our physios and, our strength and training coach. We've been working the whole time, and, I'm just ready to get back out here. I'm ready to play the way that I've been playing all season, just get back to my 100.
Justin, the form for Newcastle has been mixed in the last couple of months, given the high standards that the team set. So how key is this win tonight in terms of momentum for the playoffs?
Every game is key at this point. We're since 10 games left in the season, we've been building and trying to build more for a playoff picture instead of playing one game for a regular season. We're just trying to get better every day, every game, and we're just going to keep working.
Congratulations, great individual performance and great team performance.
Appreciate you.
That's our MVP, Justin Gordon. The numbers stack up as well. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. He was immense tonight, wasn't he, Matt?
Yeah, I think certainly the second half he showed, and it was a little bit of everything, as we discussed in the pre-game, on the glass, at the rim, just doing the little things on defence. And I think with some strong adjustments by all the players, the effort level just went up.
It was interesting what he said, Kieran, about one of the fundamental differences. Shots were getting made, individual players were taking their opportunities. That's very true, but there was no doubt that the intensity levels were very different in the second half and in the third quarter in particular.
Yeah, and I think they found those energy levels, forcing turnovers, and that really started to get the momentum going. And with that, it led to easy buckets at the other end, which gave them the confidence, and then obviously they started knocking down those three-pointers. Once those three-pointers started to hit, they were unstoppable.
Yeah, they really were. Coach Ian McLeod joins us now. Must have been thrilled to see that second-half performance. Coach, congratulations. What did you say to the team at half-time? Because it was a completely different Newcastle in the second half.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the lid was on the basket for the first 6 minutes. We had some good looks, layups, open jump shots, and we just didn't knock them down. But I was happy with our defense the whole time. It sounds like a cliche, but we talked about the process. We were down, I don't know, 14, 15 points. But we were playing good D. I always felt like we were disruptive and our intent was correct once we sorted out our post defense and what we needed to do from there. And we just said stay the course, really. It was about being controlled, being poised. I didn't go crazy with the pen tonight and make it about a tactics game. It was about playing defense and being on a string together.
Well, speaking of defense, 24 turnovers Leicester gave up, 14 steals for the Eagles. That aspect in particular must make you pleased.
Of course, because it takes the pressure off your offense, because they're high percentage run-ins, they're high percentage shots on the bricks. So now all of a sudden you don't need to run slow half-court offense and get great looks because you're doing it on the break. And that's important against a team like Leicester. They're a very good defensive team. We know that. They have been for years. That's their stamp. And you have to have high percentage shots against these guys.
Justin Gordon was our MVP, but he wasn't the only one that stepped up in terms of your big characters and big players needing to change direction in the second half. Ramon was brilliant, Darius as well. Your big characters really stepped up when they were under pressure tonight, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's the phrase we used, actually, character. We weren't happy with last week. We weren't happy with what we showed. And that would probably be throughout the game, not just a little collapse in the fourth. And we showed a lot of character tonight. And that at half-time, we said, whatever happens, we don't sacrifice what we're doing defensively and how together we are.
Coach, I know you'll talk about taking one game at a time, concentrating on what's right in front of you. But the importance in terms of timing of that win against the league leaders can't go unnoticed.
The importance is not... It's easy to say after a win, but the importance is not with another win in the win column. The importance is a response after last week. If we'd have squeaked that win last week by a point, we still wouldn't feel good about what we did. We could have lost this one tonight. We'd be feeling very different, So it was about building for us, to proving it to ourselves that we can play this type of basketball. And the first half of the season wasn't just a fluke.
Great performance, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It really was very much, Kieran said to me as we were wrapping up the final part of that game, the definition of a game of two halves. It absolutely was. That intensity led by Justin Gordon, but contributions all round. Louis Sayers there had a brilliant performance. I know you're very keen on highlighting Darius Defoe as well and how big a night he had, Kieran.
Well, I like Darius is a disruptor, and sometimes the referees are not in his favour. The way his style of basketball, he's very physical, always in your face, and I think with those kind of things, it can be, like I said, he's a disruptor. He's so hard to play against, and he completely changed the rhythm of the game for Leicester because he was forcing those turnovers. He did a great job in Nelson Henry down the stretch. Disrupted him. He couldn't be the playmaker he wanted to be, and I think Darius, props to him. He's a champion, and it shows why.
Okay, Rob Paternostro taking time to talk to us now, the Leicester Riders coach. Rob, looks like you're going to have to wait a little while longer.
You think? Yeah, no question. I mean, that's not something we're thinking about right now. We're thinking about the basketball game, and when you turn the ball over 24 times, you don't deserve to win. They had 29 points off turnovers, and that's the type of team they are. When they get those turnovers, everybody's happy, everybody's pumped up, and it really pumped their team up in the second half. Those early turnovers really hurt us, and then they played well. I mean, you look at their team, and they have that talent, and it's surprising when you see them the last couple of weeks, like that. So we knew what they were going to come up with tonight. We knew they would give that kind of effort, and we didn't deserve to win because we turned the ball over too much. 24 times, which is very uncharacteristic for a Riders side. Why were Newcastle able to do that? 14 steals for them as well. What do you pinpoint the reasons why? Listen, I got to look back at the film. I want to look back at the film. It's hard to see from over there. I got a tough angle sometimes, but they played aggressive. I think they were aggressive. They were up, and we got them in foul trouble, but we couldn't get them the extra foul that we needed. So it is what it is. It's part of the deal. I just told the guys that you play like that, you don't deserve to win. Simple as that. I thought we fought back, and we had our opportunity there. A minute and a half to go, still in the ball game, even though we played so poorly. But the turnovers killed us, and if we continue to turn the ball over like that, we're not going to beat anybody. So we'll get a rest, and we'll come back strong. Yeah, you got Wednesday, the Lions. Of course, that could be the decider. That's a hell of a game lined up, Coach. Yeah, looking forward to that. That's what it's about. I think that we've played them maybe 5 times this year, and they've all been good ones. And I think that Wednesday will be no different. The good thing for us now is we got to get back home, and at this stage of the season, it's about recovery. We got to recover. We got to get our bodies ready, and we got to go down there and play a great game. And either way, we're seeing you in action next Friday night on Sky. So look forward to catching up then. Thanks, Coach. All right, guys. Understandably pretty frustrated with what he's seen, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the benchmark they've set for the season, he's not going to be happy. And Coach Paternostro is a perfectionist. And what Newcastle did is they disrupted a rhythm team. I thought Kieran's observations about Darius specifically, defensively and offensively, giving the output that he did in the second half. And prepared to take the shots that he would normally take despite the low percentages shot. And then, like you've already said it, they almost handed the baton to another player each time. I said it on the commentary. Sayers hitting 4 threes. Justin Gordon coming back into the game and just putting up highlights and delivering,
And Sayers was a player I know you wanted to talk about and referenced it at the top. His shooting was one of the reasons why he was brought into this side, and he really, really stepped up and demonstrated that tonight. Yeah, and that, I was looking at some of his highlights in some of his games this year. He's 5 attempts a game, and I think he should be a high 30%. He's at the low 30% at this moment in time. I think he can give a lot more, and he's a great shooter, comes off his spot, but when he brings that extra element to Newcastle, again, they're so hard to beat. Yeah, lots of different facets to that Newcastle offense absolutely chiming in the second half. As far as Leicester's offense was concerned, well, Gino Crandall once again right at the centre of that. We mic'd him up for tonight's game. Let's hear how it sounded from his perspective.
Swiss cheese, cheddar cheese. That doesn't even count. Is that really cheese? That's the way to make an impact, dog. Come my back. You never know what to expect out of these dudes, man. That was a good pass. Appreciate it. So he didn't try to go anywhere but into the player on that one. And I've been trying to talk to you for 50 feet. Ah, wait, no, late stack. Late stack. I feel like I have to shoot a left-handed. And Defoe's doing a lot of just flailing around. I know they're going to give him one, too. I looked at the young dude and I was like, don't fall for it. And he looked like I said something mean to him or something. He's walking to his spot. He's walking to his spot.
I'm moving back.
I ain't saying you're doing nothing. I'm just saying he's walking to his spot. That's all. He's walking to his spot over here. I ain't saying he's in the wrong either. I'm saying we all just get into our spots and play basketball.
That was Gino Crandall mic'd up in. It was a pretty intense game on the court. Mic'd up absolutely demonstrated that. Wasn't the only action, of course, here in Newcastle across the BBL this evening. Let's take a look at the other games and how they played out. The early tip on Friday night was the Lions Scorchers game, and Surrey ran London close. Remember, if London had lost that, they would have really been behind the 8 ball as far as the title was concerned. They've won. Leicester haven't, which means that Wednesday game between the Lions and Leicester absolutely crucial. Went to overtime in Bristol. The Sharks coming out on top 96-91. Crucial win for them given the form they've been in recently. And the Giants, an important win for them as well, keeping their playoff hopes alive. 101-83 the final there, which means the BBL championship table looks like there's no change, of course, at the top, but London keeping their faint title hopes alive. Plymouth and Newcastle have qualified for the playoffs, but it's all to play for as far as the rest of them are concerned. Matt, you're in action next against the Sharks on Sunday. Eagles to play too. Almost certain you're in the playoffs, but back-to-back wins would guarantee that, of course, and this word we've used quite a lot already this evening, get the right momentum going into the playoffs.
Well, Sheffield have definitely put pressure on us tonight, and so congratulations to them in the win in the Southwest. And you're right, it's 2 Ws we're aiming for, and then we can watch how the other cards fall.
Leicester have 3 more games. Of course, the London game on Wednesday, which could be absolutely critical as far as the title is concerned. Friday night, Glasgow Rocks. That game is live on Sky, so they want to close things down.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and I was saying that, you know, London will have a big push going into playoffs, but they definitely want to close things off. They don't want to bring it to the last game.
For all kinds of reasons, I guess, as well, not least resting players up. Next week, same time on Sky Sports Action, Sky Sports Mix. We've got the Riders Rocks, 7 o'clock. Could be a coronation, could be the night that the Riders take the title. 7 o'clock, we are on air as usual for 7:30 tips, so make sure you join us for that. Matt, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your insight. Good luck with the rest of the season, Kieran. Always a pleasure. What a game we have had. Friday night basketball here on Sky Sports. Let's hope there's more where that came from next Friday. Join us then.
We got our eyes on the prize. We're gonna do or die, never compromise. Till our names in the sky. Together we unite, we're our gods tonight.